We're back with another guest on the show. Now, while Kerri's experience may have been relatively easy in terms of her family accepting her Islam, our guest today, Kevin O'Halloran, did not have the same kind of breezy experience. First of all, welcome to the show, Kevin.
Thank you.
So, Kevin, you're 23 years of age. You've been Muslim for 6 years?
6 years, correct.
What challenges did you face when you reverted to Islam? Was there family or friends? What sort of challenges did you face?
First and foremost, from my parents being strong Catholics, throughout the whole week they used to participate in worship, and for them to find out that not only one of their children but two were to embrace another religion, so that for them was very difficult to comprehend. And not only that, being the baby or the youngest in the family, so that sort of made them more upset.
So you had another sibling in the family that also reverted to Islam?
So there's myself, and my second brother was the one that became Muslim before me.
Right.
So it's both of us.
And wouldn't you think it'd make it easier for your parents, but it didn't in your case?
No, because as soon as my brother embraced Islam, probably a couple of years after he got married, so he left the household, so it was just me, and all the attention and focus was just on me, so it made it really difficult every day waking up, and it was very hard because can you imagine always arguing with your mother? Like, no one wants to do that. But alhamdulillah, through the will and grace of Allah, gave me the patience, but now alhamdulillah it's sort of eased up a bit.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So are you still living with your parents?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's become easier to cope with it all?
At first, one of the main barriers my mum used to always bring up was that, look in Palestine, or they're Muslim, what they do, how come, when they kill someone, how can they say that they're Muslim when they kill an innocent person? I thought Islam was to be peace and submission, and so that was like very hard for me to explain to my parents, or especially my mum, that I'm not going to be like that, so I'm not going to be an extremist, but they just base it on their situation. They don't do it according to the teachings of Islam, because we all know that Islam means peace and submission. So
that's a very good response. I mean, Kerri said her parents weren't really sort of victims of the media and believing what the media say, the propaganda. Yeah. But your parents, you say that they believed a lot of the stuff in the media about Islam?
Yeah. Yes. Well, more so my mother. She was just say what she wants. Say anything about Islam on the television, or hear anything in the radio, or say anything published in the newspaper. She'll straight away just target, saying, "Oh yeah, look at Islam. Yeah, look at this or look at that." And so it was just very difficult, because again, I didn't really want to argue with my mother, so I just had to bite my tongue and just remain patient.
Yeah, I find that very interesting. You mentioned that you actually grew up in the western suburbs, so I imagine you would have had a lot of contact with Muslims.
Yeah, I did. And
your family as well.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, my brother became Muslim before me, so him and him, like all his friends, they had brothers that were my age, so it was like easier for me to hang around them, because we're the same age, and they were just there to give me that guiding hand. Basically, they were just there for me.
And just on that topic, you adopted the name Abu Bakr, and your older brother, you said Uthman.
Yeah.
Did you feel pressure at that time to change your name Kevin to Abu Bakr, or do you like just Muslim boys calling you Abu Bakr?
Well, the story of the name Abu Bakr was that before I became Muslim, like my brother's friends used to come to the house, and they always used to say, well, if you become Muslim, the name Abu Bakr will suit you. And so at that time I didn't think anything of it, but since I embraced Islam, I kept the name Abu Bakr. I didn't feel pressured at all. I just knowing that Abu Bakr being the first Caliph of Islam, and the character and the man of Iman and faith he had in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was just gave me that extra motivation just to keep this name, and just to that concept that, well, back in the days of the Sahaba, that if he was to endure what he endured, who am I not to endure?
Good point.
Yeah. You keep referring to your brother and your brother's friends and stuff, so I guess you had a big support network in terms of friends, but did you also reach out to any official support networks like ANMA, which Kerri was referring to before?
No, I was mainly like an informal group of friends. It wasn't nothing formal. They helped a lot, so I didn't feel no need to contact any formal association or Muslim association. So.
Alhamdulillah, it says a lot about the Muslim brothers embracing him as another brother. Correct. And showing you the ropes. Yeah. They probably took you to the local mosques and introduced you to the organisations out there.
Yeah, they did. So especially for Friday prayer, so I really saw the brotherhood come together a lot more. And throughout the first couple of years of being Muslim, They were always there for me. They used to, okay, look, let's go to the mosque, let's go to the lecture. So they brought me into the family. They were always there for me from day one and to now.
That's really good, mashallah.
So Kev, just finally to our listeners, what would you suggest to them, some advice coming from your background about dealing with non-Muslims? And so for a Muslim dealing with a non-Muslim, using their character and what have you, and also for a non-Muslim to not be afraid to ask questions about Islam.
Well, firstly, for the non-Muslims, if they're thinking or about
interested in
Islam, they shouldn't be shy. If they have any questions, they should just ask. And not only that, they shouldn't judge a book by its cover. So if they perceive Islam through the media, that's completely wrong, because they should always look into it firstly, and they should know that Muslims in general are very peace-loving and humble people. And for the Muslims, in regards to a Muslim reverting, they should always be there from day one, not just say, okay, once the person embraces Islam, say takbir and it's finished. They should be there from day one, just to be his or her side, just to show the brotherhood and the sisterhood of Islam. And that's probably the best.
And use their character.
Obviously use their character, show the manners, basically show the characteristics of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Jazakallah khairan for coming into our program today, Kevin. We appreciate your time. And we wish you all the best in your future endeavours. You're a university student studying to be a PhD teacher, isn't that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you and grant you all the success in the future.
Inshallah, jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
We're going to take a short break and be right back. You're listening to The Y Factor on 87.6 FM.
I see you creeping over the border, so eager to take a life. Guns are blazing, you bring the horror. Tell me how you sleep at night. Children screaming, no tomorrow. That's how they live their lives. Hope still burning, freedom will come. Everything's gonna be alright. No matter how you try, you'll never kill a whole burning bright deep inside. You may take their lives, but you'll never kill the voice rising up. Freedom will come as time. As a father buries his child, you say she deserved to die, but ain't nobody buying your lies. How can you say it's right? Demolition of homes and minds. In the eyes of a world gone blind, the revolution ain't televised. In the streets with the blood and the dust, you will hear their cry. No matter how you try, you'll never kill a whole burning bright deep inside. You may take their lives, but you'll never kill the voice rising up, saying freedom will come past time.
Yeah.
The Y Factor.
Welcome back to our final segment of today's show. We're wrapping up with events today. Tasnim, the first event?
Inshallah, IDCA will be hosting an out of sight, out of mind tour with guest Abu Hafsa, who was actually born totally blind and went from a professional wrestler to an inspirational lecturer. There will be two main events. The first is Thursday, the 5th of May, which will be at the Grand West Stella, 12 Bridge Street, Litcam. It will be at 8 p.m. and the cost is totally free. And then the next day, which is Friday, the 6th of May, there will be a fundraising dinner at the Grand West Stella, which is again 12 Bridge Street, Litcam. It will be at 8 p.m. and the tickets are $65 and they're open to both men and women. For more information, go on idca.org.au or call 9738 7700 for tickets.
Another event to be looking out for this week is the Omar Regan Story, which is a men and women's event with free entry this Sunday, May the 1st from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. at Lakemba Mosque. That's 84 Wanji Road, Lakemba, if you don't know where Lakemba Mosque is. The second event for Omar Regan is Who Said Muslims Can't Have Fun, which will be a live comedy show 250 tickets only, and I think a lot of them are actually already sold. So if you want to attend that, you've got to get in quick. The tickets are $50. They're ready for purchasing online, or you could contact one of the event coordinators. The event is actually on Facebook, so if you just look it up, Who Said Muslims Can't Have Fun, Omar Regan's live comedy show. That will be on Monday, May the 2nd from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m.
The Y Factor.
This Friday, the 29th of April, inshallah, Isra will be holding a talk called Australia's Perceptions of Muslims and Contributing Factors. The guest speaker is Professor Kevin Dunn, who's conducted a lot of research on Muslims in Australia, and he's with UWS. You need to call Isra to RSVP. The lecture will be from 7:30 to 9 p.m. at level 3, 128 to 136 South Parade, Auburn, and ring 9649-9040 or email info@isra.org.au for registrations.
The Y Factor.
Another event happening this week, which we've been notified about from our Facebook listeners on our page, is a protest next to Lakemba Station opposite the Tobacconist, 1:30 p.m. Friday, April the 29th. It's a protest against the Syrian government. Now, obviously, if you have been keeping track of the news, you'd know all about the atrocities that are occurring in Syria at the moment. Al Arabiya has actually reported the civilian death toll in Syria as 453 people so far. So it's really, really getting out of control up there. And inshallah, next week we'll dedicate a big part of our episode to covering what's happening in Syria and the offences against human rights that are being carried out by Bashar al-Assad's government. Meanwhile, if you can make it to the protest on Friday, again, that's on Friday the 29th at 1:30 p.m. next to Lakemba Station.
The Y Factor.
And finally, in our events, who could possibly forget that Prince William and Kate Middleton's wedding will be occurring on Friday? It's actually going to be streamed live on YouTube, as well as covered on practically every broadcaster in Australia. They've already started by airing a Will and Kate movie covering their love story from the very beginning. Now, personally, I'm not too interested in the hype. I'm actually a bit disappointed that the support for an Australian Republic has fallen over the past few weeks when the royal wedding preparations have been occurring. So the most intriguing piece of news related to the wedding is the fact that the palace has actually intervened in the contract between the ABC and the people organising the airing of the wedding, and the chasers have basically been axed. So they're no longer allowed to go ahead with their program that was supposed to be the Chasers Wedding Special on ABC2. A new clause was inserted into the contract between the ABC and the palace authorities, which kind of required the ABC to give a warranty that it would not use royal footage for a Chaser show at peril of losing their entire broadcast for ABC One of the wedding. Now, I don't know, if you can't look forward to the Chasers coverage of the wedding, I don't know what you'd be looking forward to at all, but they are trying to find ways around it, like using other footage. Unfortunately, it seems that the warranty is very tightly knit and they're not able to find any loopholes so far. But, you know, at the very least, they can say that they were noticed for long enough by the royal family to have issued a royal decree to ban their airing on TV.
The Y Factor.
Quick reminder of our email and Facebook page.
Just go to our Facebook page. It's the Y Factor Radio Show, or you can email us at yfactor@live.com.au. Thank you very much for listening to the Y Factor, guys. We appreciate your time, energy and efforts.
And your feedback, which is hopefully forthcoming this week, inshallah. So stay tuned next week, same time, same place. That'll be 6 p.m. on the Voice of Islam radio station.
I'm Amatullah.
I'm Tasnim.
I'm Miran.
And I'm Mohammed.
And we're the Y Factor.
Assalamu alaikum.
Toodaloo, Alabama.
The Y Factor.